Hi everyone, Day here, and welcome back to my Let's Play of the Great Ace Chronicles. Within the last episode, we kind of went over a lot of stuff. You know, we investigated the crime scene, we talked to Gina, and she actually was honest with us. She opened up her heart to us and went into depth, like superior depth, on what actually happened on the omnibus that night from her perspective. And we're also still walking around with Iris in tow, and Susato is also with us as well. She hasn't left because within the game it's still not tomorrow. So with that said, we're going to hop into it. We were speaking to Iris, and she was telling us about how the two photographs are part of a stereoscope. How stereoscopic prints work.
Have you ever considered, Bruno, how our eyes see death in the world around us?
Well, I just opened them, and it works. That's the question.
And the reason it works is because we have two eyes.
Yeah, I see what she means now. At first I was wondering, like, why the slight difference, but yeah, it's like I used to do that whole thing where I would just open. I have one eye open and have the other one closed. But when you open and close your eyes, you are seeing different perspectives. Two eyes. Shocking. I guess we're not Cyclops around here.
If you try closing just one eye at a time, then you'll see straight away. You can see with your left eye. What you see with your right eye are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye.
Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. I'm trying to figure out how this could possibly relate back to this case at the current present. It's true, and they're building it up to be this humongous thing all of a sudden, so I want to say that that's going to mean something. Like maybe maybe that picture that is taken every half hour, maybe there's going to be that little bit of difference or something. I'm not really quite sure yet, but I do find it interesting that we're talking about this in depth.
Exactly. And in your head, your brain uses that to shift, to estimate death as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense death in everything we say.
My brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me. I think I see. To the pair of photographs. Yeah, basically. I remember in Virtue's Last Reward, I believe it was, where they were speaking to the robot. He's like all the bits and bobs in your body and how you don't really think about anything that you're doing, like breathing or walking or moving. You're not commanding your body to do those things. You're just automatically doing them as you need to do them. Consists of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right?
Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick.
So if you can persuade your brain to merge two pictures together in your head, you'll be able to see death in these prints.
Yes, Bruno. You're beginning to understand.
The stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that.
Yes, but as long as you have two images, your two eyes in one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all.
Can, really. And how to view them. Stereoscopic print.
Let's try it. Let's see if you can view the pair prints without the help of a stereoscope.
Oh, yes. I'm dying to have a go. Sato-san really loves this kind of thing. I feel like she likes a lot of stuff.
You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you do that?
You both do that. I used to be able to cross my eyes. It's been a while. There's not really much reason to do so. Cross my eyes? I think I can.
Watch me. See if you can copy.
Oh my, that's weird.
Make your eyes do this.
That hurts. Like, if you try to hold it for as long as I'm having her hold it, it just hurts. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? There. How's that?
Wonderful. Now's your turn, Bruno.
Trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed.
Alright, that's enough practice. Now try looking at...
Wait.
Now let's try it looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes.
Do I have to do this in real time? It's gonna be hard to do that with the picture not with it not in front of me. I don't know. Okay, I guess the game does it for me.
Just say two overlapping images like this. Try it now, Bruno.
I'm just going to have to give it a try, I suppose.
The print split into two images for you. Now the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this. Then you try crossing your eyes again. Prints should slowly merge together until they form a new single image in the center.
I'm trying to... I still don't fully understand the why.
Oh, yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works. I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day.
I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Yeah, I can't do it for long at all.
Your turn, Bruno. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle.
Like this, is it?
There, you managed it. So now you know how stereoscopic images work.
We need to know that for something. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it is really quite extraordinary.
So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Bruno?
They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly.
No, some people find it easier than others. That's why contraptions like this exist. For people who find it tricky.
Oh, I recognize that. Saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? If I remember correctly, there's this little knob here. Oh. Set the pair of photographs in the stand back at the backhand. Still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now. Still trying to figure out what does this have to do with anything.
Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently.
If these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them.
But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case.
Stereoscopic pictures. I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll actually ever need. Exactly. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Like, how would it relate to the case? Like, I don't think currently. Let me look at the court record real quick for just a moment. Well, maybe it has something to do with this, because didn't the other picture have that too? Wait. There is this insignia too. I don't know. I just feel like it has to mean more, right? Interesting. A photograph depicting a sweet little white cat. Feels though I have another print just like this one. Oh, we finally got the second one. Now I should open my court record.
Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed. There's something rather troubling here.
I have noticed.
Red smear, you mean?
Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Susato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case...
Yes, we need Iris.
We should show this to her before we forget. Redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Windybank. There's what looks like a bloody finger mark on it. Okay, I want to see the jingle bells. This one's a little faded. I like the touch. I wish they were super side by side, like so I could just panel through both of them at the same time.
Oh, that looks like blood.
It does. I would say it's from a gloved finger, almost certainly a glove made of leather. Is it Egbert Benedict then? He was wearing gloves, wasn't he? Which means that I guess this is one way we could probably match the blood on the disc if we ever got the real disc back.
But don't worry, Runo. You're gonna leave the rest to me.
Look at that.
Yes, this is a color we haven't seen before, isn't it?
At least not as far as sampling blood.
Simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples to be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point.
Well, this particular stain of blood.
Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is?
You know what? I want to just take a guess. I think I do. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color it turned, but with a little deduction.
That's right. I think it's Claire. Iris, you know as well? You first, Runo. Who do you think it belongs to?
Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... That Magnus McGilded also wore blood. Right? And this one is from 2 days prior. Bryce Fire Mason also wore gloves, didn't he? Okay, actually, no, I don't know. Let's see, McGilded.
Mr. McGilded.
Yes, after all, this redemption ticket belonged to him.
Oh, you don't think? You mean it during the incident on the omnibus?
Yes, I expect so. It's a very clear print and no small amount of blood. It must have resulted from a fairly serious accident, such as he might have sustained on the omnibus. He didn't get hurt.
Wait, but if I remember rightly, no sign of injury was found on Mr. McGilded at all.
Oh.
We're trying to work out who the blood came from.
Yeah.
Look at real like anyone who hasn't been blamed straight away.
Yes, I suppose we can. But to think this through some more, who do we know was bleeding at the time? Wait, so this is from the 15th. Oh, it is from the 15th. Every time I see the blood of, I just want to say the lamb. Bryce fired Mason.
You don't sound very sure of yourself, the way you trailed off there.
Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course, I never met the victim. So I'm struggling to remember his name. It was definitely thrice fired, though.
The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice Fired Mason.
I like that touch. You do I forget names after playing the game an hour ago. Like, it makes sense that he would struggle with a case that happened 2 months ago.
That would mean that this bloodstain was left on a ticket 2 months ago.
Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windybanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time.
That was a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. What else is coming back to me now? Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves then.
Oh yeah, he did say he was. Not an excuse. What good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from the stomach. I wasn't about to start railing about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give them a hand. Oh yeah, it was on the thumb. Certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, this mark. Why is he speaking like that? But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time, anywhere on his body, from which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes.
Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope.
Yes, I think you're right, Bruno. Very well. Let's make a note of this.
The details of the pawnbroker's ticket, the code have been updated. A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Windybank. The blood on it has been identified as Mr. Mason's. 2 samples of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turns different colors. That it? Oh man, now we're back on our own. I'm always gonna try the hospital. Oh, still not yet. Okay, let's go back. Went back to the storeroom. He is here, isn't he? There's the story manuscript. I know I showed him some things already. Right? What do you have to say about this? Inspector Gregson, could you give me more of an opinion? Nope. Yeah, I already went through this at some point, I guess. Because I'm able to fast forward it. We don't need to go over things like that. We don't have time. I guess I'll go back to the other room for a spell. If I can't figure it out, I'll just cut out a little bit of this part as I don't. Back over here. Let's look into this, actually. This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. It makes you think. Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday. We were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Oh, the calendar I was talking about so much. Didn't even notice that. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Here we are, though I'm not confident I could get it closed again.
Oh yes, that's a floating stereoscope.
Really, this is a stereoscope. Sholme showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for that, he used the great big contraption over there.
Ah, well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. This little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There's special shops selling prints using them. I have a little collection myself.
Wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It would be keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. I have to click on this now that I see it. Ah, look here.
Oh yes. Bullet hole. I can see the bullet is still lodged.
I was wondering about this. I really was. Because I was wondering if he had got shot from the front, considering how the blood stain, because he fell forward like this, right? He was forward facing. The blood stain was underneath him. So I'm like, he had to get shot from the front. Like it had to go through him, basically. Like we saw the bullet hole in the back, but it wasn't even really that bloody. So it just makes sense. He wasn't shot in the storeroom. He was dragged into the storeroom. He was shot out here.
But yes, a bullet hole, and I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall.
Presumably, Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. And the calendar says April 16th.
Ah, well. Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. Very patriotic like that.
Sorry? It's seriously his go-to.
It's all there in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris? Ah, did I read something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, it doesn't do it often. It is quite dangerous pastime.
He doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once.
Get that for now, Bruno. Let's examine this bullet.
What's that around the bullet hole?
Is it?
Blood. A suspicious red stain on the calendar.
This is where I come in.
Oh, right. If the blood changes to be the same color as the sample from the storeroom, we'll know that it's Mr. Windybank's blood. That's what I'm assuming. I mean, Sholme's did get shot too, but... Yeah, Sholme's did get shot. It could be, Sherlock's. Herlock's.
Exactly, here we go then.
Blue, green, so it's Herlock's.
It's completely different to the color that Mr. Windybank's blood turned in analysis.
So that my theory was debunked.
It just goes to show things don't always go according to plan, do they? Nevertheless, we must add the sample to the results of the other blood analysis.
Blood samples portfolio has been updated again, basically. Can we? I'm going to just look at it again since I can. Green blood, it just seems wrong somehow.
Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different.
What color my blood would turn out? Actually, I don't want to know. Looks like we could talk to this gentleman too. This officer has been staring intently at the wall since before we came in here.
Shh, keep it down.
Oh, sorry.
There's a major clue just here.
Really? Then we must tell Gregson at once.
But as soon as I report it, that'll be it. I'll be stuck here even longer.
Stuck here? What do you mean?
I haven't been home in 2 days already. I'll need another constable to relieve me and take over my shift.
They really have a tough time, the British police.
That doesn't stop us investigating though, does it?
No, I suppose not. I'm fairly sure it was the calendar he was peering at.
But that doesn't help us anymore now, does it?
Wait. It's probably nothing, but I'll still look at it.
These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts all the clues that have been forfeited and displayed for customers to buy.
This is a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example?
Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know? Are you alright, Marina?
Oh, it's just, well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole. But when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue.
That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. Very clever. That's a music box. You have them where you come from, Bruno.
Don't tell me this one's gonna work. Have we ever tried this? Has anyone ever tried this one? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan.
Oh, well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound?
It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks.
Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Gregson to have a word.
Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. That's everything. As far as what goes on up here. Oh yeah, the shovels. Wasn't there 4? There was only 3 of them, right? That ledger that's open on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in the pawn.
It's too much to think about, but it's to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me.
But clearly Mr. Windybank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. Okay. Can't click on that. Alrighty then. How much else I could look at? I'm just making sure. It's like when you're actually part of a true investigation, you really kind of want to. Ready? What else is there? Let's try moving. Wait, I kind of want to just see if anything else happens, like if we go outside or something. Nope. Legal consultancy. Nope. Let's try the hospital again. Not yet. Interesting. I'm still missing something. Try the storeroom again. Examine. Already looked at. I thought I already looked through this anyway. I feel like I did. Oh, see, this game feels like a true successor, because once you got around to the other Ace Attorney games, they kind of made it a little bit more forward-seeing. I feel this, you still like, where do I have to go? I tried this already. No, wrong thing. Sorry. I'll probably try to cut this out of the video. We don't need to see all this. What about this? Is that what? Yeah, I think we went over this. Yeah, he's asking if he was involved in the book and all that kind of stuff. Oh. Huh. I'm a little lost on what's next to do there. Like I must be missing something. Inspector, what do you make of this?
Oh, whatever here then. A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of the office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was returned. Yes, this is the ticket for Mr. McGilda's overcoat. What that little dive turned up with yesterday.
Oh, actually, no, it's not.
Really? Think you know better than me, do you?
No, I didn't mean to,
Rena's right, Grexy. It isn't the same ticket.
Of course it isn't, I've never done it, your ladyship.
This guy, come on, dude. Seriously?
So what's all this about, if I might be so bold as to ask?
This is a second ticket.
Second one?
Seems that Mr. McGilda, in fact, had another article in storage here at Wendy Banks.
Is that right?
I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruto. Oh, good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. Only with Iris around. Second redemption ticket. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilda's overcoat.
Hey? You mean to tell me?
Yes, there was more than just the music box disc, it seems.
I should have insisted on the last, taking it back to the yard and examining it properly.
Oh, according to the details of this ticket, Mr. McGilda deposited another article here with Mr. Windybank.
Yes, I could see it written here. A small box, was it?
Do you have any idea where it is, Grexy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilda. Could be an important clue.
Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose me marbles, I'll go barking.
This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector.
That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There is one thing that springs to me. According to this ticket, The redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it?
Oh, it might be on the floor already.
Oh, yes, of course. Because are only here for 2 months.
The small box would no longer be in here.
Right. Forfeit.
Which means it could be on the shelves in the top. Forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once.
You're wasting your time.
Oh,
There are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds. We can't possibly know which one might have been. That information's not written in a ledger.
ah.
Well, I think we should at least have a look. Just in case.
Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure.
This is getting old. Yes, he needs to calm down. Oh.
Ah! Nearly jumped under my skin there. How come Mr. Winterbank set up such a wicked trap?
I doubt he set it out to scare anyone. Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh? Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind.
Don't you remember, Bruno? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer.
Really? Did I say that? Yes, you did. Yes.
You did!
The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we had better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. That was cute. Oh, the prison. I'm like, aw. "16th April, 5:41 p.m. Local prison, cell 13. Ah, Gina. Good. You're back.
Ah!
The police must have finished questioning her then.
Oh, how was it, Jenny? Was it awful? Oh, didn't bother me.
Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windy Banks.
Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? Been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying that I did it. That's not.
Gina, I came to ask you for your final decision
What decision?
about tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you? Or not? Wait. I press it. I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you.
Right, I see.
She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. I know what that feels like. Worry is just so hard to bear. What we've uncovered. Everyone's so solemn.
Oh, all right then, blimey, give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it?
Unfortunately, we don't know that yet.
You don't say.
Don't know yet, Gina. Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I now know why you broke into Windy Banks that night. Looks like I'm going to have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason. I thrust it in Gina's face. Or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Representation in court. We already have the representation papers. Other documents we need. All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you allow me to represent you in court tomorrow.
Don't bother. Jenny?
Rip them up and truck them, would you? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. This cell ain't fancy enough to ever been. So what will you do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on me own.
I don't think you will be.
Look, it doesn't matter. What's gonna happen is going to happen. This is one stubborn pickpocket. Did you have to mention her occupation like that? Like, here, Gina, look at this. Dorta. Now, I wasn't saying you could have it. Oh, weren't you? Well, when someone says I could have stuff, it makes me want to see. Did you better hand it over now? No, I'm not giving it to you. We found this in Mr. Windybank's storeroom. The manuscript, Iris's latest story. Yeah, I kind of assumed that she wanted to prove or wanted to see it with her own eyes whether or not Sholmes was an honest man or not. Oh, great. That's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windybanks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like, with one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. I don't understand who the two people that broke in are. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night? Eh? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Ah! Why don't you tell us what happened? Please! Iris's manuscript. Alright, yeah. This Baskerville story is the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. But I figured it's gotta be worth a few pieces of silver, right? We're doing it for Iris' sake. Oh yes, at least £5,000.
What?
You intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you?
No. Jenny, how could you?
What? Wait, no, ain't gone. What? I wasn't going to sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, if it was there or not. That's the only reason I was selling the place. For Iris' sake. Isn't that right? What? We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But
I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Jenny. I just know it.
Well, I saw the manuscript in the storeroom. It reminded me of what you'd said the night before. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Bare-faced lies, the lot of them. You just said realized it. I'm telling you, that manuscript that ain't at Windybanks. You'd soon see it if you add a look.
I'm honest. I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden manuscript somewhere I don't know.
I feel like he returned that box. Or put the box in Windybanks. If it turns out Sholmes shot the man. I don't think he did, but no.
That's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Jenny, that was so sweet of you.
Alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. Reason for breaking in. It went because of Iris. That's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest? If he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windybanks? It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. He's got her dead, and she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she reads her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyway, last night when I was listening to what he was saying.
Stories? Daddy?
You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah?
So thoughtful and so kind, Jenny.
Yes, we never thought any differently, did we? Look! Give it the rest, will ya? I ain't all this Jimmy nonsense. Did you hear? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. Because if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scorpa. Tina. I just want to give her a hug. I hadn't noticed it till now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat. That's on a very suspicious red stamp. They look brown to me, but I'll take his actual their word. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. I don't really have much else. Do you see this pawnbroker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took to Windy Banks, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat you're wearing now. Eh? What that? I don't know. They all look the same to me, those tickets. Surely not. This one has a very obvious mark on it that would appear to be blood. Eh? Does that ring any bells? I don't know. It all looks the same to me, blood. And they all sound the same to me, these answers. Suspicious. Man, his comebacks are getting a lot better now. Like, you could just tell he's becoming a much stronger defense attorney. Even like detective and like looking into like certain aspects of the case and stuff. Those things on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? See, that one's gone again.
Blood, Mr. Naruto.
You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be blood that spluttered from Mr. Windybank when he was shot last night?
Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Hey, take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Jenny. I'm going to shoot. Oh.
Oh my. What the? Forget the sleeves! The whole coat is covered in blood. But not her vest. Or her bag. Her satchel. Oh, Iris said that. I thought it was Miyanosuke. Of course. The black color of the fabric was making the stains. Masking the stains. Why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted to chemical. Matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly.
Yes, now let's see. Who happened to pop her blood? Ah, yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason. Another murder case too.
Knew it.
What are you all about? The victim? What do you mean?
Rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruto. I think this makes things quite clear. Means the omnibus case is finally solved. Who really murdered the brickmaker? Mason.
Wait, will someone explain what's going on? Stop telling half the story.
I would have taken that jacket off. It would have came all the way off. Truth of the omnibus case. We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilda's overcoat.
In the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony.
Now McGilded. Gotta ask you, what good-hearted soul would have rushed to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start reading about me gloves now, was I? Reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from McGilded trying to pull the victim to his feet.
No, that was what had really happened. The blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat.
The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run from the truth for long enough. It was obvious it was game over for him.
There's no escaping it now.
The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, Magnus McGilded. I think we all assume so.
It's an Naruto.
That horrible case is solved at last. And I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen? You were new to the game.
Bruno, you believe him though? You believe Mr. McGilded was innocent?
I believed, or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon.
A weapon?
Interesting. Like, he's already getting it hard. A lawyer's weapon. I don't think Phoenix got this kind of thought process going until, like, the second game. Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. Sogi.
You mean Kazuma-sama?
Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us, and we fight with everything we have for their cause. Any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. Kazuma-sama! Asogi! What's funny, Gina? Oh, sounds like in this empire of Japan you got it from. Everyone must be soft. But come on, look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bug trata. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. He's supposedly dead now. Well, at least you've learned your lesson now, right? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. Soon as you let down your guard, you've read it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one, get hurt by no one. Take a leaf out of her book, she said.
Gina, can I ask you something?
What?
I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial?
Stuff them for Rakia. How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away.
Are you really sure it's what you want?
I bet that's what he wants to know now. Mister, I'm a believer lawyer over there. I'm a believer. Don't forget, it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely.
Now, Mr. Naruto.
A lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. I did not mean to do that quickly, but I trust her. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. Eh? Or do you have bait? Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Seriously, I'm Mr. Naruhodo. She's never said his name before, huh? Didn't you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Bibs just tripped off me tongue. I'm a diver, don't forget. I poured the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it.
Gina, do you understand why you choose not to put your trust in others? But I assure you, there is more to this life than you yet realize.
What do you mean?
The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down.
Eh? It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. What? What do you expect me to say to that? Figured she was crying.
Then it's decided. We'll take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations. Be ashamed to throw them away now after it's ended with it so beautifully.
Then what do you like? You Easter didn't like the odd. I don't know what you're. I don't get ya. Gina's taken herself off of the back of her sail. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out alright in the end, I think.
Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardness.
Mr. Sato!
Nobody's there in the shadows. I can sense it. Nobody who wasn't there before.
What? Oh, we have to know. But Amy, you're short, eh? Oh.
I suppose you were using one of those missing Japanese arts, like the art of she or stealth that I've heard so much about.
If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector.
Grexy!
Oh dear me, I am most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to stop.
How long have you been listening in on our conversation?
Good grief, listen in. No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave if there was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived. This very minute, not a moment earlier.
I'm telling you, dudes, I have no idea how I feel about Gregson. I want to believe that they wouldn't pull another one of these people in power and of the police force or traitor type deals, but never know.
That's all it is, nothing untoward, nothing untoward.
After hours? Is it that late already?
So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best, bye-bye-bye.
That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for her ladyship.
Oh, but I wanted to have a chat.
I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the moment.
Oh, I say. That's a shame.
I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with. Sharpness, Lord Strongheart will. Well,
Emergency? Lord Strongheart?
nothing. Forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off.
All right, Grexy. You have to, but let's chat soon.
Delighted, charmed. Can't wait. If you please, my pleasure.
What are you? So sex? Come on, calm down. That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere.
Grexy's so funny. He says such silly things.
Certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. Entertaining, not so much. He feels like a second clone, but inauthentic. I don't like it. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. Probably what they were mentioning practically the whole entire time.
Must attend the court clerk's office before it closes.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Sato.
finally escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. Shall meet you there later.
Does she have to go? Like, I really don't want her to. And so our investigation came to an end. Chisato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Chisato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. No, right? Like, I was watching The Fox and the Hound yesterday, and I was crying like a dang baby, I promise you. I cannot take sad moments. Like, I don't want to cry over this. 16th April, 11:13 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. And with that said, we are going to end it right here at this spot. We have learned so much. I mean, who didn't already realize that McGillett totally committed that one crime? It was obvious, I feel like, to anyone directly after that case ended, even before he burned in the fire. You just felt, there was something about it that just felt like, wait a second. Yeah, he most likely is guilty. Especially with the way he was talking to everyone and like getting upset and everything he was doing. It was pretty obvious. Now, as far as if he is alive, that's still like, because if he was, I would think that he would have went and redeemed those things himself, unless they're really like trying to pull like a super twist and allow you to think that way. But then later on, it's like, surprise, here he is. So I don't know about that either. We went over the stereoscope stuff in great length, actually. So I wouldn't say that that's going to be important somehow. And Mr. Windybanks is still kind of like, I feel like he was shot from the front. Like, it seemed like he was shot from the back, but I don't know if that's officially true. However, I believe that bullet, with the blood stain around it with green, was Sholme's, because he was shot. Right? Well, yeah, with that said, I want to say that that's pretty much just what I can glean so far at this current present time. But without further ado, we'll move on. Susato-san will be leaving us shortly. I don't know if, I mean, I feel like she's going to be back, because I want to say she's in the second game. I know less about the second game than I did about this game, because I don't remember ever seeing the cover for the second game, so I don't know what characters are there or not, so I can't even go off of that either. But anyways, with that said, we will conclude this particular episode, and until next time, I hope you all have a great and wonderful day. Thanks for sticking along and coming on this journey with me. Bye-bye!